I think it's a globally known fact that if you talk about economy, the first to bounce back after any crisis is Dubai and UAE. And the performance of Dubai real estate market, I think, is the talk of the entire world. On that note, it's very important to recall and applaud what the government has done over the last decade and a half. The kind of trade liberalization, immigration reforms that has been put in place, the kind of crisis management that was shown to the world during the pandemic. I think all of it put together has increased the global ranking and investor confidence in Dubai and Dubai real estate. I think one of the best proof can be seen in staging of Expo 2020. October 2021, I would doubt any other country had the ability to put together and pull off this global event with over 24 million visitors. I mean, that is phenomenal, when the world was still bleeding under. I don't know how many countries were still waiting for their first round of vaccination. Dubai had completed 4 rounds of vaccination, very efficiently handled the crisis, and attracted the world as an audience to come and participate in Expo 2020. And I think in all of it, Dubai is not just for the region, it has created that belief system for the entire world. And when you look at the real estate industry, I think today you could be launching anything in Dubai real estate and it works. It sells like hotcake, and I think it's here to stay because of these reasons, because it's not a sentiment, it's a belief that is driving the real estate industry today. It is strongly regulated, backed by the government policies and the vision. I think it's here to stay.
I mean, I agree definitely with a lot of what Atif said, and I think that what you need to see is that how the real estate industry in Dubai has actually shifted. Back in 2008, 2009, the type of investments that were happening in the city are very different to the type of investments that are happening today. Back in those days when there were not as strong of regulations and there was a lot of speculation about Dubai and this bubble, there was a lot of people who just wanted to make a quick buck, who wanted to enter and flip a property and put down whatever they had and hope to sell it off in between and didn't actually have the money to continue. And that led to a lot of defaults in the next upcoming years and a lot of downturn of the market, with people selling at a loss in the secondary market and bringing the entire market down. But today, the type of investment that's coming in is very different. These are real investors, these are real wealthy people with genuine businesses who are moving their businesses here. Dubai has also become the technology hub of not only the Middle East, but of Asia at this stage, where a lot of people after the crisis are starting to move their hubs to Dubai. I know many founders of many startups who are global startups that are saying, we're going to put our base in Dubai because the regulations are so friendly. The place is a great place to actually live, and it's not as expensive as other metropolitan cities globally.
Maybe at one time they used to buy off plan, not even knowing what they're buying, just buy me 5 units in that building, on this building. Now, after the pandemic, after what we're seeing in the region, buyers, whether the end user or investors, are looking at that apartment or the villa. They consider that they're going to buy today, they might live in it in the long term. It's not just for investment purposes. Perhaps they're looking for a bit bigger apartments, bigger villa, and good location. They're now aware of sustainability much more. The younger generation today, the millennials and the younger generation, they all talk and look about sustainability, and they're very interested in that. So developers, I think, are starting to adjust it to that. Buyers are starting to adjust in that. There's a new trend today that we're all seeing: the lifestyle development, the co-living, the co-working, and I think mixed use. I personally believe the future really goes towards mixed use. People want that integration of all the uses in one place. Affordable luxury is very, very important topic. I think we'll talk about it in a minute, which is not really has to do with the type of material that you put, but with the amenities and the experience that you offer. So I think Dubai real estate market is changing. There are niches in the market that do exist, and if not there, developers are creating those niches. Because if we believe the market is saturated, it's mature and everything, I don't think it is. I think there's a lot of opportunities. Some of these is what I've just told you about.
Yeah, so I mean, they've all talked on the main points. I think for me as a private developer, when we decided to come into the market in 2017, what we realized is the trend towards people in Dubai who want to now, instead of renting, buy. So I think that shift is massive, and that shows the market is maturing. Obviously, mortgage rates were at all-time lows, so it spurred people who were renting to now say, okay, if I'm paying 20 grand a month for a villa, let me invest in my own place. So that's a big chunk of what we have seen in our developments going forward. A lot of people coming in actually to live, and our strategy was clear that we anticipated exactly what they've talked about, that people will want larger spaces and more amenities, and that's what we've catered to, and I agree. I believe this will continue. Obviously, sustainability is a big part of what will happen and a big part of what we as a developer want to do from the start, whether that's in the construction process or in what we offer back to the customer. So whether it's solar helping to reduce 25-30% of the service charges, so on and so forth. So that sort of integration is something that we implemented 3-4 years ago when we came into the market, and luckily for us, along with all the benefits the government has given, the pandemic, etc., has sort of made it a perfect storm, and this will continue, and not just investors, but a lot of end users will continue to come into the market.
So we have a very large project department. We do all of our senior management that manages projects, tenders the projects, quality assurance, QA control is all internal for us. So we put in effort to manage sustainability by, first of all, educating them, allowing them to attend certain courses that keep them up to date with what are the latest sustainability trends in the market in terms of both materials and updates and just what can be done in a certain project. In addition to that, we have a very strong team that's very dynamic and very diverse, and I think that really helps because when they sit around the round table of a project and the tender, it's not in the hands of one person, and it's having such a large department allows a lot of different thought processes in and a lot of different ideas and contributions towards what can be done in a specific project regarding sustainability. From there, we also have our development department and our technical department. So the project course goes through so many different eyes, and a lot of them will just point out different things. As basic as having a certain amount of external space in our developments, or a certain amount of, what type of, so we have a development team that will also look at the type of glass that will go into the project before the tender goes to the project team to actually tender it to the contractor. So we've split our actual project side into several different stages, and I think that really helps with allowing different people to pick up different aspects at different stages of the project and culminating into one final tender.
I think, as Amira was saying, I think she covered most of it. Just to add a few things, that the sustainability goals need to be defined from the beginning. So instead of going into a design, then midway somewhere say, oh, I want to do this, my emission is going to be like that. No, define everything, all the process from day one, and put targets for the designers and make sure they have people who can implement that. Has it been implemented before? Along the way, work with the contractor. Is what the designer is putting in place, is it achievable? Is it implementable? We always like to work with the contractor during the design process, 1 or 2 or 3 more contractors, try to get their feedback and see what do we hear from them. We hear a lot of interesting things from contractors, about sustainability, about what, options, what is doable, the cost, the real cost, and so. So it's really making sure the process from day one, you've set your goals, you've got the proper designer in place who's done this before, you've got the track record, you engage with contractors. Your employee as well have targets, so they have to achieve few things. So the head of MEP has to achieve this, the head of electrical has to achieve this, set these targets, put their KPIs. Maybe I don't see this happening a lot, but it's very important to have it in place, to put sustainable KPI, environmental friendly KPI for employees, not just to have it as, designed by time, quality, whatever time, and all of that. So this is really what I can think of. I think Amira covered it very well, and you have to start from the beginning. That's all what I can say.
I think it goes for every department, every employee, and what I have believed in and implemented over the last 21 years of my business life is extensive importance to training and knowledge development within the workforce, because it's not just a statement, it is the reality. Your employee, your staff is your real capital, your most premium asset that you can have as an organization, because you can come up with vision, you can spend on marketing, you can do everything, but ultimately it boils down to them to go and execute it, to implement it. And the smarter they are, the more educated they would be able to deliver the results in a much faster way, in a more efficient way. And what it also results in is the retention. Because invariably you will see that people would stick around with the company, not just because of the financial gain, but intellectual gain that they were having while working for that organization. The focus on process, we implement, like for example, a mandatory 10-day training class for everyone who joins the organization, irrespective of which department they are joining. Once they have completed 3 days, every day they attend examination. So it's not to evaluate their employment, it's about how we can improve them once they're part of the organization, once they are, as I'm not a believer of hire and fire policy, which a lot of people implement, but we work on, once we have selected the candidate, it's about how we can work together to upgrade each other. Because what is a company? A company is no more than the staff, that they are the people who implement your strategies, who deliver the results. And when you incorporate that, I think it creates a different level of expertise within the organization, where I want my salespeople to understand the technicalities, not just the engineering department. My engineering department, which constitutes of the project management department, the tender and contracts department, the procurement department, the idea and architecture department, they need to be in sync within that division, so that my ID is incorporating an aspect which would lead to maybe a contractual issue leading to variation, for example. So the more you create your organization into a knowledge database, more you focus on implementing training programs, I think it converts your organization into a stronger workforce in a very quick time. And like for example, last week our entire workforce underwent a training for legal risk mitigation. Now you would imagine why a marketing department, a PR department would undergo that, but I see a huge opportunity, because if my entire workforce understands the risk and exposures, they would be able to mitigate in a more efficient way. If my sale understands the technicalities, they are able to create a much better representation for the organization. They are able to explain the sustainability aspects of the project in a very qualified manner. So I think training and education leads to knowledge, which is, I think, the biggest asset an organization can have, and it's paramount to have that.
I don't think I have much to talk about, but so I'm going to go a little bit micro on this. So what we specifically did in our projects in the past is that from the contractor side specifically, because we were implementing, we had made a decision to do sort of solar and LEED certification at the start, at the design stage. And obviously that affected from the consultant side in terms of the material, of course, but also just the generic design of the building and how we can optimize that. So of course the education side of it, like Atif correctly said, was essential at that stage. But we also went down to the groups of workers who were actually doing the block work, who were actually doing the paint and plaster. We would have every month, we would have sort of a group meeting with a little bit of food to make it exciting for them. Stories, and educate them on what they're doing and why they're doing it and how it leads to sustainability. Now, in the long run, is that feasible for larger projects and big construction companies? I don't know. But I look at it as a single project basis, and how do you define to your team on that project what the benefits are of what you're doing, so that they buy into it from the start, so they understand that okay, I need to make sure I separate the wood and the steel and the recyclable material so that it gets disposed of properly and efficiently, and that helps reduce, whatever emissions that may come out of it. So for me, it was that micro level of making them understand, and that hopefully led to a more sustainable life cycle for the entire project and the teams involved.
What you're talking about possibly is the mid-income segment, and I think it's the backbone of any economy. Like the SME or the MSME is in the corporate world, mid-income segment is for the overall economy, and of course the real estate sector as well. We have to understand the economics of the real estate and construction business. It's very simple. You put together the cost of land, cost of construction, cost of your utilities, your conveyancing, and your profit margin. So margin is the only thing, the profit margin is the only thing which is directly under the control of the developer. And I think when the market matures, everyone is pretty much operating on an optimized margin. Land cost, I think land is not as costly in Dubai as it should be because of the quality of infrastructure. But the challenge is land availability. Good quality land is not that easily available. It is largely parked with some land investors where it could be converted into a very attractive real estate development for the mid-income segment. So land availability is a big challenge. When you look at the overall mathematics of any real estate project, the highest outlay is towards the construction. Now, there's very little you can do in terms of optimizing the construction costs at the top. Well, if you segregate the cost of construction, there are three portions: your structure, your MEPs, and your finishes. Structure, it totally depends on the kind of land you have purchased. If it's a high rise, your structure cost is definitely going to go up. Mid rise, low rise, your construction cost is under control. MEP depends on many factors, to what level of innovation you want to take it into. Finishes, again, from the quality of finish, the aesthetics and the ambience that you're trying to create, your supply chain, your suppliers, your subcontractors, all of these things have impact on the cost of the project. And eventually all of this leads to the price of the property. I think I again go back to the need of creating local infrastructure for the finishing products, which is a huge opportunity, business opportunity in Dubai. And once you've done that, I think another factor which is important is you can buy the best set of material, you can have the best design, but if you don't have the right execution, you can have the best layouts and best materials, but if the execution is not right, your contracting partners are not right, they don't have the right experienced manforce, skilled manforce to execute it. I can get the best teak wood, but if it is not installed properly, it will look awful. I can get the best porcelain tile, it is not installed properly, it will look awful. So I mean, from selection of material, availability of material to the execution has impact on it. It's a great opportunity. I think that segment will continue to expand because of the rising population, more immigrant population coming and settling in Dubai, more business established over here. So I think yes, definitely that segment will continue to expand, and by default, Dubai has a different level of standard for everything. When you go to restaurants, the airlines, the hotels, the overall lifestyle is quite upscale, and so is for the mid-income segment as well. I think affordable luxury is one of the key segment of the real estate market.
So I actually have a slightly different opinion. I think that when you look at what is affordable luxury, I think when you look at Dubai, most of your projects in Dubai are affordable luxury, because today Dubai is on the same map as London, Hong Kong, New York, Paris. We're no longer competing with, emerging markets. We are now on the table with developed markets that have, the biggest financial markets, tech incubators, real estate markets. So our comparison table has changed. When you look at the comparables that stand with us, Dubai is still the cheapest market in real estate. In New York and in London, where you can buy a studio, you'd be able to buy a 5-bedroom house in Dubai for the same price. So I think when you define affordable luxury, we have to also keep in mind, what is the ticket price of affordable luxury? Dubai has slightly excessive supply, but in a way that is actually beneficial to the end user, because when there is more supply, us as developers, we have to make sure that our property has an edge, our project has luxury, our project has a price that's competitive in the market. And to that extent, I'll give you a small example. In the last 2 quarters, we launched 2 of our new projects. One was branded by Cavalli and it's overlooking Palm Jumeirah, and one was branded by Di Grzegono, the jewelry brand, and it's right on Safa Park. And both of them are positioned as very high-end luxury. Our penthouses in those 2 projects are each worth 65 million dirhams. But our starting price in the project was 1.5 million dirhams for a 1-bedroom apartment. So I think it really, Dubai has affordable luxury, because when you look at the projects and the finishes that are available today in the city, there are apartments that are quite luxurious for the definition of affordable luxury, and you will get them at 1.2 million, 1.3 million. And in my opinion, that is very affordable. You should not be going below $1 million dirhams for luxury. At the end of the day, it is luxury. A person who wants to buy luxury should not expect something at 700,000 dirhams. That becomes necessity. You know, we have our Lagoons project, which we have a new cluster of today. And yes, our townhouses start at 1.6 million, and it's a 3-bedroom townhouse. But we also have standalones at 4 million, and that's affordable luxury. And we have villas that go up to 25 million, and that's luxury. So I think it depends on where on the spectrum you are, but I think Dubai actually offers a lot of affordable luxury across all developers, because the definition of affordable luxury globally, Dubai has exceeded all expectations of that. If you look for affordable luxury in a city like London or a city like New York, you will not even be in the parameter of the city. Whereas in Dubai, you'll have central next to the IFC, affordable luxury, $1 million dirhams. And that's even without approaching the secondary market. So I think Dubai actually has done a phenomenal job with affordable luxury, because they've set the benchmark so high that actually your basic projects today are actually affordable luxury. I don't see any project in Dubai that has been launched in the last 1 year to be anything less than affordable luxury in the ticket price of 1.5 million upwards. So I think developers are doing a great job in that segment actually.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the definition of affordable luxury, I think it can be seen in two different directions. One of them is about the usage of material, and what are you putting in that apartment or that villa, what are you presenting to the customer, the finishes, mostly related to the finishes. The other definition has more to do with the amenities that you're offering for the project. So the project can be a normal, standard finished product, but it has phenomenal amenities, okay? So you have that apartment, that is a lifestyle type of apartment, that has a small co-working space integrated in it. The gym is not a classical gym, it's a CrossFit gym. You have a boxing room, you've got USBs in all the apartments and everything. You don't have to put the plugs and everything. You've got working pods at the base of the building. The lobby of the building is not just for delivery people to sit and deliver something. No, it's usable space by the inhabitants of the building. You've got a theater room, you've got a movie room, small like 10, 12 people. You've got a billiard, you've got so many things that typically you don't find in buildings here. Or if they are, you find them in the building, they're not properly utilized. They're just dead spaces used perhaps for kids' parties or whatever. So and my definition of affordable luxury is really to provide a high level of amenity, unusual level of amenity, in a normal setting type of finishes building. The only thing for it to remain affordable, of course, the developer margin is going to be squeezed a little bit because he's providing a lot of amenity. So that's the challenge from the developer. His profit margin is going to be squeezed. To counter that, it cannot be in the middle of the city. You have to move a little bit away from the city, so the land price is cheaper. So overall, you still have a very nice proposition. Somebody who comes in, he's 25, 30 years old, he comes in, he's got everything he wants, all the amenity, his unusual amenity that he needs. And it's kind of as well in a lifestyle mixed-use environment. As I said, a bit of co-working, the residential, the F&B, and the normal setting and all of that. So this is really my definition of affordable luxury. And I think this is not a segment that is too much tapped in this market. I think it's still, this is a market worth exploring, The challenge for the buyers and the end users, of course, is that they're not going to be in the middle of the city. I know Amira was saying, and she's right. She said, yeah, you have a lot of luxury available in the middle of the city. You don't find this anywhere else. But when you start putting all these amenities in place, like really going overboard with the amenities, you either have to drop a little bit on the finishes or you have to go a little bit outside the city. So I think it really depends what you define affordable luxury.
I mean, continuing on what he said, I think affordable luxury is more of an experience now than anything else, right? It includes amenities, it includes finishes, it includes everything else. And it includes the lifestyle that you want to create as a brand. Now, for me, the way I look at it is that every micro market within Dubai has a set price point. So if you're in Jumeirah Village, you can't go above 1,000 dirhams a square foot. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, some developers would go to 12, 13, 1400, but you can't do that now, right? Similarly, if you're in Arjan, you can also not go above 900 to 1,000 dirhams a square foot. But as you get into the center of Dubai, obviously the prices will increase. Now, the population in Dubai, the middle class has been expanding continuously, right? So affordable luxury would be targeted to someone who earns 25 to 35,000 dirhams or around that range. What can they afford with the mortgage rates being what they are, with the micro market being what it is, and with the land prices being what it is. So I don't believe that it's affordable to put up something in the center of Dubai, because for me, spending 100 million dirhams on the Palm right now for a 100,000 square foot plot doesn't make sense. Because even if I sell it at 3,000 dirhams a square foot, my net margin will be 30%, right? And do I really want to take that risk, spending 100 million dirhams on a plot, which I'll deliver in 2 years? I don't know what the market will be. Okay, Palm is a different story, probably sustained, but that's what we think about as developers. And it's important to understand that the micro market that you are in, where you have a land bank, will dictate what you can do in terms of affordable luxury. So amenities, of course, are essential. I think the mixed-use buildings are the way of the future. I remember seeing the last launch that he did, and the amount of amenities available in that area was amazing, right? But that includes having a catchment of 10 or 12 buildings, and it's like a mini master community, right?
That's very good.
How do you do affordable luxury in one building, right? That's what it'll have to boil down to, because people want to live close to where they work. They don't want to travel. So I think it'll have to be broken down into which sector you're in, which target market you're specifically targeting, and of course, how do you mix having all the amenities with sustainability, with good finishes. All of that combined is not easy. So all the people sitting around here to have that challenge on a daily basis, because yes, you may be launching something today, but you're thinking about what you want to do 2 years from now as well. So that's a big challenge that you have to face, but the market is here to stay, because the middle class is growing, and how you define your space within your micro market is essential.